Hi, everyone. For those of you who are watching this, I just want to give a quick introduction before I lead you into the interview that I'm going to have with my friend in a little bit. So about a couple of weeks ago, I just have this idea. I want to interview different people, especially for students who came to the United States and study in the States, and what kind of experiences they've gone through and stuff like that, because I was one of them. Coming here to America, have to go to school in a different language, and what kind of experiences I had and stuff like that. And I feel like, by talking to different people, hearing their experiences, that will be able to help us to learn more about them, who they are, and what kind of challenges they go through, and what they need and support they need from people around them. And majority of the people that I will interview, maybe they are the alumni of the school that I went to, is Brigham Young University. And especially maybe majority of them, I know them from the MPA program, which stands for Masters of Public Administration at BYU. And hopefully that, because majority of them that went to BYU, hopefully it will be something that can help the school itself or people that go to BYU understand about international students more, and how they can engage and include all these international students into their circle of interaction and connection, and how can the school actually supports them as well and understand them as well. So today I have the privilege to start the first interview with one of my friends that we did the program together. And we had a lot of conversations about different things. And I'm thankful for him that was willing to come to the first person as a guinea pig for this project. So I will introduce him before I ask him any questions. So his name is Bruno. He is from Brazil. He earned a bachelor degree in accounting, and he moved to the US in 2018 to pursue a master degree in public administration at Brigham Young University. And he graduated from the MPA program in 2020, April 2020, which is during COVID time. Anyways, we'll start the interview. First of all, maybe you can can introduce yourself to the audience, who you are, just for them to get to know you a little bit more.
Oh, okay. It's like you just said, I'm from Brazil. I moved here to the US 2018, and I moved in because I came to the MPA program here in Utah at BYU. I'm originally from Brazil, born and raised. What else? Yeah, and I graduated in 2020.
Okay, so I am curious to know about your experience, or just about you in general before you come here to the States. When you were in Brazil, what did you do and stuff like that?
Okay, so before coming to the program, I was working as an economic analyst for a big company in my state. But most of my career was auditing, accounting, very much in this area in the private sector. And that's what I was doing before. I also was teaching. I used to teach some English, and I also was teaching financial mathematics, accounting too. They have this school, for kind of an associate school for associate degree, but lower than that. And I used to teach some people there too, like this financial accounting, administrative, things like that.
Wow, so it sounded like you had a lot of experiences prior to your arrival in the States. Also, why did you decide to come to the States, and specifically why Brigham Young University and the MPA program?
I think the reason why Brigham Young's because of like, if you LDS, you know that Brigham Young has like, it's a it creates kind of a special environment to attract LDS people to study there. So the price is way cheaper, and also they have a lot of it's like a very good university in the state of Utah, and also I think in the west, the whole west of the USA. So I think that was one of the reasons. I also always had this feeling that I kind of had the qualifications to study abroad. You know, I was already fluent in English. I, you know, I had a bachelor's degree already. I had work experience. So I thought all of those things would leverage my career to the next level. And the MPA program was like, first I thought about the MBA program, but I just like didn't have like all the qualifications to that program. So, and then I've heard about the MPA, and then I decided to apply, and then I got accepted, and it was also a good program, and I'm really happy I applied for, and I had a chance to come and study there.
That's awesome. Also, I was curious about your process of applying. You know, like definitely coming to the US, having to go to school in a different language. You obviously kind of like you mentioned that you already know English. So everyone has to speak English and to know English well enough to be able to go to college here, right? Especially master degrees, even another higher level of education as well. So how did you prepare in terms of your preparation before the program started or coming to schooling in the US in general?
I think education, you know, like getting like good education and kind of do well in a bachelor's degree, you know, like GPA and things like that. Even though it doesn't say much about you, like it's about who you are, numbers are really important. Financially, so you need to save, especially like, I know currency discrepancies are different from each country. So Brazil wasn't that bad. When I came here, it was like maybe 1 to 4, you know. So, but anyways, you need to save some money. You need to have some financial support. So I think that's very important for the preparation. So financial support, your education, yeah. And I also think like your experiences, your previous experiences, like everything you do right now, it's kind of preparing you for like your future, you know. So my jobs, people I met in college, experiences I had there, they somehow shaped me, you know, and that helped me here during the MPA program.
What about like the TOEFL test? Did you have to study very much for that? Because I know that all the international students have to take that test as a standardized test to say that whether their English is good enough to go to American schools.
Yeah, I mean, I was already teaching English for a couple of years before taking the TOEFL, and but being honest, I don't know if this is gonna sound stupid or not. I don't feel like for a master's degree there are other things. Of course, they would like require a certain level of English based on your TOEFL, but I think there are other things more important. I mean, if you have like, you know, like if they require like 80 and you got like 81, it's not going to make much difference in your application if you don't have the other like standard tests, how can I say, sufficient, you know what I mean? But it wasn't hard for me. I actually had a fun experience with that. I first, when I registered to take the TOEFL, I didn't put my full name in there. I just put like my first and last name. I didn't put my middle name and my two last names actually. So I took the test, but they canceled my scores because I couldn't prove I was me. And then I had to pay again the fee and took the test. And my TOEFL wasn't great. I was expecting a higher score, but it was enough. So to get into school, and yeah. And TOEFL is a very mechanical test. I mean, you can like, you know what you're gonna expect. So you just need to be like more prepared. But I don't think it's a huge challenge. It's kind of nothing based on like the essays you have to write in school and the things you have to talk about. It's kind of, it's the basic. It's like, that's the minimum requirement you need to before coming here.
Yeah, for sure. That I remember when I took TOEFL tests, it was a lot of preparation, because to me, I feel like it's one of those tests that it's not that easy, so it required me a lot of preparation and times for that. So you moved to the US, you came here in 2018, started your MPA program. How was your experience when you first came back then? Because obviously, America is very different from Brazil in a lot of things. So how was your first experience when you came in 2018?
There's a lot of differences, but there's a lot of similarities too. But for me, I was kind of, how can I say, I was so excited about everything, like going to school and living in the house without my parents. And I had just arrived and they took us, like the MPA program took us to like camping and things. So it was like super exciting the first weeks. But then like after a couple of months, I was like all the excitement was gone and I had to focus on school. Like I was like, oh my God, this is really hard. But I think it was a very interesting place to live. I think people here are way more private, which is good in a way and bad. Which is good because you can just live your life and people were not like be that nosy actually, or but also I don't feel like it's easy to make like connections, like deep connection with other people. Food was okay for me. I mean, I didn't miss Brazilian food very much. So I was like, and here are so many options. Like you have like Mexican food, you have like all the fast food things, and you have like, so I was very excited about it, and it wasn't a big deal for me. Yeah, and I was going to school every day, so I was kind of busy all the time. So it wasn't that kind of complicated for me to kind of adjust in the culture.
What about going to school, like going to BYU in general? How was your experience when you first started? Were there some things that you kind of shocked, or like, oh wow, surprised that, oh, there was certain things like this, like that?
I'm not shocked, but BYU is a religious institution. So I kind of understand the importance of the religion in like classes, but I just felt some professors was like, they kind of exaggerated a little bit in the connections, I was like, what? Other professors, I just could feel like, yeah, that really makes sense, they are really like comparing those two things because it kind of has a correlation or causation, something like that. But sometimes I was like, no, that doesn't make sense at all. I was like, why I'm here? I mean, I can just go to the institute to talk about this. So, but I understand. I just feel like the level of, how can I say, scriptures or things related to the gospel. Sometimes it varies a lot from professor to professor. So I think that for me it was a little bit hard, like I was just like, I've heard that my whole life. And but other than that, the school is great. I mean, I didn't have any other problems. It's very organized. Professors were like, they really wanted to know more about you. I just feel like that genuine like care for you as an individual. Also the staff, they were really willing to help, even though, like, especially for us as international students, most of them, of course. So yeah, I don't think, I think the university is very, very prepared, and they really care about us.
Yeah. What about your interaction with other students in the program or other people at the BYU environment in general?
I think it was most limited to the school. I mean, sometimes, I mean, like, I was expecting probably a little bit more than that, like things outside school, but everyone was so busy. And I had a lot of classmates that had like family and kids, and of course they had to be with their families. But yeah, I was just expecting something more, outside campus. But in campus, it was pretty okay. I mean, we were always interacting and talking, and most of them, of course, trying to help each other the way they could. So it was okay.
Do you feel like you are included in a lot of things? Because you are an international student, obviously that everything is very strange to, well, even me, I was international students too. So in terms of like interaction with domestic students or in general, you feel like you are always included in everything that they did?
I'm not gonna say always. Always is a really strong word, but I'm saying most of the time, yes. I was like always invited to, like, let's watch a game, or let's do this on, I don't know, Saturday. If there's something happening, there's an FHE in my ward, do you want to come? I had a lot of, I mean, I didn't have a car, so it was really hard to move around, and the weather is not very nice most of the time. So, but other than that, I was fine. I mean, I just felt like people were not excluding me, or they always, I mean, most of them were remember, oh, let's invite Bruno. So
Were there any times that you feel like you were not included? Maybe either in your program or in the school environment in general or in settings?
I don't know. I don't think so. Can't remember now.
Okay. So I guess you sounded like you always had good experience then.
Yeah. Most of the time, the experiences were good. I just think like what bothered me a lot as an international student is the bureaucracy. Everything is so bureaucratic, There's always a paper to file. There's always a rule you have to remember. And people are not sometimes very much equipped to talk about it,
Yeah.
Like taxes. When I did my taxes, the guy didn't explain me everything. He just did it by himself. I asked a couple of questions, but he didn't even know how to answer why. He just knew how to do it like a robot. So that was a little bit annoying. Other like health insurance things that you need to know, like, you never do this, you never call an ambulance, things like that.
Yeah.
Because it's so expensive. Those more like bureaucratic and like things that we don't know because we're not from here. But other than that, I mean, I kind of don't blame them, because in Brazil, like in my hometown, I don't know the differences between me as a citizen and someone from another country.
Yeah.
So, but that's kind of a lot different too, because we don't get as many foreigner students to Brazil. as they got here, because there's like zillions of international students in the USA.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they should know, they should be able to, let you know how to do some things. But yeah, so maybe this is a little bit frustrating because you kind of find out things later,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I totally agree with you on that. Also, in your program, BYU MPA program, what were some things that you like about the program?
I like the teamwork focus. It's really interesting. Like putting people together and make them work together, even though they barely know each other. I think it's funny.
Yeah.
I like that. I liked I don't have any problem. Sometimes the grading, some professors are not 100% clear what they want or how they want to do it, which sometimes is okay if you're not 100% focused on your grades. Yeah, so I think the grading system was okay. The way they kind of make us work together, it's okay too. Yeah, that's what I can remember now.
Any things that you wish that they should have done better?
Oh, of course. Yeah, I think sometimes being more I don't know. There's always something to improve, but then I can remember now. Maybe I don't know, maybe they can I think they have a program like that, but they can probably I don't know, sign up as students like to help you go through all the process, like just checking on you at least in the first month,
Mm-hmm.
Or be a little bit more pay more attention on you at least for like 2 or 3 months, the first semester or something.
Mm-hmm.
Always like following up, and I think that would be something interesting.
So you feel like they should have checked on students more to see how they're doing and stuff
Yeah,
like that?
yeah, I think so.
Okay. Um, you think what were some skills that you learned the most from the program?
I think like teamwork, like being transparent, but that's not a skill, but skills like Excel. I
Yeah.
wish I could have learned more, but like statistics was really, really important, like learning more about the technicalities of research.
Uh-huh.
That was really fun. Coding, of course, I should have learned more, but anyways, still good. Decision making process, have to be more technical about something. Speak. Oh yeah, I think that's pretty much it about skills.
Yeah. So you make a lot of friends during the time that you went to school?
I mean, in the USA definition of friends, I would say yes. I think I made a lot of friends.
Okay. So what's your definition of friend? Because you said,
I
oh,
mean,
it's
friend is someone that we're always like hanging out or at least checking on each other, texting or calling. But most of my friends on the MPA program, I hardly ever speak with them, which doesn't mean they don't care about me, or I don't care about them. I mean, if they text me or if I text them, they usually respond to me, but, as I said before, people here are very, very private. So, and most of them moved out, in my
yeah.
program. So, but yeah.
Okay. So you graduated last year in April 2020. That was during COVID
Yes.
time.
Yeah,
So I could
exactly.
imagine how hard it would be to find a job right after graduation. So I was
Hmm.
curious to know about that experience too, in terms of like looking for a job after graduation. What was your experience in general with applying jobs and stuff like that?
I mean, it didn't change much. It was just like, how can I say? I mean, we were kind of not knowing exactly what was going on. We didn't know we didn't have a big picture of what was going on. So I just kept applying for jobs like I used to, and I was getting interviews and everything. Until I got a job. Like it was kind of an internship, which is a job, but what I'm trying to say, it wasn't a full-time position, with benefits and everything. But yeah, it didn't change much. I just kept applying regularly.
Hmm. But was it hard to apply for a job, like since you're an international student? Is it very competitive? You feel like a lot of employers they overlook your um, qualifications and abilities to perform a job because you're an international student, your English is not your first
I,
language and stuff like that comparing to Americans.
I don't know if the language would be the biggest barrier, but like a lot of uh job applications, they ask you about your immigration status. They don't ask specifically, but they ask if you're legally authorized to work in the country, and if in the future you're planning to apply for a sponsorship or something, which means like getting a work visa. So that feels like, if I say yes, I feel like, oh no. I mean, I'm not sure. I'm sure they're not gonna care about my
Right.
skills or everything, especially like small businesses and like governmental stuff, because they need to use their own money, like taxpayer money to like apply for you. And most of them, they don't have much experience in doing that. They don't know all the technicalities. So I was a little bit, how can I say, skeptical about answering yes this question. Because
Mm,
of course, if I got a sponsorship, that would be nice. But then I feel like if I answer yeah, it's like having a disability.
yeah.
You don't want to say you do have a disability, because you're gonna think your employer is gonna feel like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna hire this person. Like, what's gonna happen in a year from now? So yeah, that's kind of hard. I mean, I don't know, like big companies like Facebook, Google, I don't think that would be an issue. But like living in Utah and working for the government, I think this might be a little bit of a disadvantage.
Hmm. Yeah. Um, I remember one time you were mentioning, I think that was toward the end of graduation, and then I feel like it was a stressful time for all of us because we almost graduate, looking for a job and stuff like that. And I remember once in a while you kind of mentioned you use this phrase, which I kind of laughed whenever I heard about it. But today I was curious what you meant whenever you said it. Like, oh, I've been living on the darker side of American dream.
Oh. I mean, it's like talking about the American dream. The dark side is because I was just gonna say it was like harder to achieve the dream. If you're not born here, you're not in the same, how can I say, you don't start off from the same position, you know what I mean?
So it's kind
And
of like
like,
a disadvantage in a way.
yeah, and like I was saying, like with like in the MPA program, which is more focused on government jobs and not having like authorization to work, um makes like hard for you. So that's what I was trying to say. There was a dark side. And also like you're starting over, basically, like you leave everything behind.
Mm-hmm.
So I came here when I was like 10 years of age, but I had to start over from zero.
Mm.
like all the money I had, I invested on BYU. So I was just starting my American dream at when I was 30 years of age. But my classmates, they lived here their whole life. So anyways, that's probably what I was trying to say. And also sometimes like I fell a little bit behind in some like coding skills, Excel skills, and I saw my classmates doing so good, you know, and I was like, how do you know that? And oh, I just in high school or in college, you know, things that I never experienced. So I felt like I was a little bit behind. Not that it was impossible for me to get there, but so that's why I think it was a dark side, because I was not like in the same level of in some classes like as some other of my classmates, you know. And also living here, things were like so hard sometimes, and then you know, even to yeah, like we have to learn everything from the beginning, like because we never lived here. So yeah, that's probably what I was referring to, the dark side
Okay.
of the American dream.
That makes sense. You know, do you feel like anything that you want to say, maybe to, I would say perhaps like future employers?
I mean, I don't think it's much about them, but like that would be something more related to like politicians,
Yeah.
and not just politicians, but what the, how can I say, what people here want. Are they okay with that? I mean, they should be, that's my opinion, but I'm biased, you know? But I think it's, of course, the employers, they have like, most of them are okay. This bigger, like those tech companies are huge, and I'm sure they apply a lot of money so they can like facilitate the process. But I also think it has to be more like, you know, we're not here to steal anything from anyone, you know, we're just trying to live our lives like you guys, you know. So
Yeah.
you know, so but I think that's it's not just about the employers, it's more about the culture, you know, like um yeah, I think that's it. I think
Okay.
it's it goes beyond, um it needs like a lot of, you know, discussion and
Yeah. Or along the same lines, kind of like, oh, you know, right now I understand that you're still looking for a full-time job with your immigration status and stuff like that. Um, if any employers, potential employers that listen to this, what kind of things you want to tell them for them to understand where you're coming from and they would consider to hire you and stuff like that?
I mean, another thing that I liked that I didn't mention before about the MPA program, or I don't know if I learned that at BYU or somewhere else, but like the difference they bring, the diversity, like the difference they strength, like the community or the company. So I just would say to employers, like, I mean, I know they want someone 100% qualified, but I mean, it's not just about getting someone ready, you know, it's also about, you know, helping someone to get there, you know, like, um, I might not have 100% of the requirements, the qualifications they are asking for, but I might have like 70. So maybe this guy can, you know, improve in like 3 or 4 months, and that was going to be a great, how can I say, a great addition to our workforce. I remember when I was in my internship, it was really fun because there was me, there was a girl, I don't know, I think she was from India, but she might be from Pakistan, I don't know. But, and there was a lady that she was Muslim, you know, and I thought that was so cool. It was like, wow, so interesting. So many diverse people, and we learned so much from each other, and that was pretty fun. So I think just like employers, just, you know, like not look for someone that it's 100% ready, but someone that they can feel some potential, and work with them.
Yeah, which is really important. I like that because I feel like it's an important message to all the recruiters and employers in general who are looking for prospect employee to work for their company. I like how you pointed out that it's not all the qualification they have, but it's just about how much potential they can become and the willingness they have to be able to be teachable, right? I think those are the important skills that
And like international students are very resilient,
Yeah.
like they come to a different country and they have to rebuild their lives, which is not easy. But I also understand it's hard in the job interview to kind of get the full picture of someone.
Yeah.
But I just would say, like, having this perspective in their mind. I mean, sometimes I see some job descriptions like 3-4 pages. And I was like, what? Okay, it's a management position, but anyways, it just sounds too much.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think just have this in mind, like, oh, I can see some potential in this guy or this girl based on this and that. And like, yeah, just feel like people don't want to have the trouble to help to train someone else. They just want someone that is 100% ready,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's basically it.
That's thank you for sharing that. That's really important. And I hope that those recruiters out there and employers out there will take this into a consideration when it comes to hiring new employees. So, obviously, you've been here for a while, you went to school. I'm sure that there's a lot of things that you've been through, right? Um, I'm curious to know, whenever you've been through anything that kind of difficult or challenging in a way, what are some things that you do to overcome those maybe frustrations or challenges or difficulties in general and how you deal with them?
I mean, I try to be logical. I try to see the options I have. Like, I try to, like, one example, when I got my first internship, I forgot to tell the international department. I didn't know I had to, so I kind of totally forgot about it. But and then like one of the directors in the program sent me an email and said, oh, you need to go to the international department. And when I got there, the advisor was kind of pretty, not mean, but he was like, you're a lost cause. I mean, there's nothing I can do about it. So what options do I have? Oh, there's this option, there's this option, there's this option. And if there's an option, there's still hope. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So for me, that's how it works. Of course, I was upset, but then I have to work with the options I have. I don't have time to be upset. I mean, I kind of pulled myself together really fast. And then I work with the options. And if there's nothing else I can do, there's nothing else I can do. But I'm gonna try everything I can.
Yeah.
But like, we as people of faith, I would say some things are not in our control. So it doesn't matter. I mean, it doesn't matter how hard you work or what resources you have. It's not gonna happen, So, but what I try to do is be logical and work with the options I have, even though it's not the option I would like, but it's the option I have. So that's how I overcome my frustration moments.
That's good. What about stress? I'm sure that you had a lot of stress.
How do I deal with stress?
Yeah, going to school and stuff like that, or even living abroad.
The best way to deal with stress, it's face it. I mean, if I have a lot of work to do, I do the work. And after that, I'm not stressed anymore. That's how I manage with school. you know, and yeah, and like work sometimes can be stressful. But I don't know. I think what's cool that I can remember now, it was like, have a lot of work to do, so I'm gonna do all the work and get rid of it as soon as I can, and then relax. I don't let the stress consume me, take over me. Yeah. So it's just like, and then I have to go in the priorities, you know, this is more important, this is more important, this is not super important. So this way it kind of easy the process. It makes it like less painful.
I see. What I'm hearing is if you know what you stress out about, then try to get those things done, then you're over
just
with the
go
stress.
and I know it doesn't happen like this for in all the moments in our lives. But if we can just go face it, go through it, get through it, and then you feel way better.
Yeah, that's a good perspective to have. Also, living abroad in general, you know, since you've been here to the States, you feel like over these years, what are some things you have learned?
Living here in the US, what I have learned. First, like be more private, I would say. What else about living here? Not everyone that smiles to you wants to be a friend. Be as more prepared as you can before doing something. Try to anticipate everything you can. Yeah, I think that's it.
You mentioned earlier that resilience. You said, oh, any international students who came here definitely has a Brazilian skill. Do you think that you have that? You feel like you are more resilient than you used to be?
Yeah, I think so. I think so. I think I am.
Like in what way you feel that?
In what way? I never had a big challenge in my life. I kind of had some challenges, but I never like stepping back, you know, like, oh, I'm gonna quit. I'm not gonna do this. You know, and then being here, you just can't come back home, you know.
Yeah.
It's not like a job that you, okay, I'm gonna quit this job and I'm gonna find another one. Here is different. You can't just go back home and then it's just like you left everything behind to come here most of the time. So you just can't, there's nothing to go back for. So then that makes you more resilient, I would say, like not quit, not give up. And also, like, as I said before, we are people of faith. So you have to add a little bit of faith in things you do that helps go through the process. Like asking for guidance, you know, and things like that from God or whatever you believe. People that are listening to this, yeah.
Okay. What about any advice you have for prospect international students who are coming here to the US to study or to BYU or even to the future MPA students?
Save money before you come. Read everything you can about the program. Read the syllabus from each professor. Don't be scared to ask for help. You know, just ask for help. People can't read your mind. If you're not happy that day, people have no idea what's going on. So just be transparent, you know. I think that would be the 3 advice, like save money, like it helps the process. Be transparent with the other teamworks or with school. Like if like you having problems in your life, just tell someone about it, you know, like ask for help. and read everything about the program before you come, and get as much information as you can about like immigration laws, things like that. Talk to as many people as you can that went through the same process before coming.
Those are important stuff to know, obviously. Maybe one last question. You know, like how we all went to a business school, and or in general, we feel like, or at least for me, right? I feel like, oh, at the business school or American perspective in general, when they think about success, like, oh, you study really hard, you have good GPA, and then you get a really good job, you know, then after your graduation, that defines that you're very successful in a way, right? So I'm just curious to know about your opinion about success in general. What do you think of success?
That's a really hard question, because success means a lot of things for people. Like success, I have a good family, I have kids, and that's successful for me. I think like if you can live a life, if you can like have a job and you can like have enough money to live, you have time to exercise, have time to take care about yourself, not just about others. A good job, taking care of yourself, always be connected to other people, and have a good relationship with your family. I think that would be success. You're gonna need to have a big house. You're gonna need to drive like those huge cars. You know, you're gonna need to buy clothes every weekend to be successful. You know, if you can like be good about yourself, feel good about yourself and people around you. Because like sometimes they make a lot of money, but they're so unhappy. They don't even have someone to leave the money for when they die. They have to donate to like charities. And I think that's so sad. I mean, not that it's sad, but like they don't have anything. They didn't build anything solid. So I think like success, it would be having a good job, like having a way to provide for yourself, and at the same time being happy with yourself in what you're doing, you know, regardless of married or not, being a man or a woman, being from here or not, accept yourself the way you are. I think that's success.
I like it how you said success means being happy with whatever you do and whoever you are. That is a success. I love that.
You can write a quote. Bruno.
Yeah, maybe I can write quotes. This is from Bruno. That's what success means, right? Well, it's been a great conversation, and hopefully that people out there who are listening to this will be able to learn more from what Bruno had to offer or shared with. And once again, thank you, Bruno, for being so willing to come and let me asking you all these questions and learn more about you with your experiences that you had or have had. And yeah, so I really appreciate that.
Oh, no
and
problem.
I wish
Thank
you all the best, and hopefully you'll find a job that you want.
Please. Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you, Bruno.